Hi guys, what's up? This is Shubhadeep from eGadgets for you. Now in this video, I will give you the comparison between the new Samsung Galaxy Tab S2 on the left hand side of the screen and the Apple iPad Air 2 on the right hand side of the screen. Now as you know, the Apple iPad is a year old, but the S2 is definitely the most latest entrant from Samsung Galaxy series. Now the most noteworthy feature is that the S2 is regarded as a brother of the Apple iPad Air 2 in some respects. So let's dig deep into the comparison video for now and see if it is true or not. Before we begin, it's worth pointing out that there are two versions of the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2 with the 8-inch and the 9.7-inch model. I have the 9.7-inch model of S2 with me, as the Apple iPad Air 2 is also a 9.7-inch model. Let me give you a physical overview of the tablet at first. On the top of the Apple iPad Air 2, you will find the 3.5mm jack input and the power on and off button or the lock button present. Whereas for the Tab S2, you find no switch whatsoever in this particular tablet. Just on the right hand side of the Apple iPad Air 2, you will find the volume rockers that are metal build and of course nicely crafted over there and are separated as well. You will find the noise cancellation speakers also over here and the SIM tray over here. It uses a nano SIM and also supports 4G variant. Similarly, for the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2 on the right hand side, you will find the power on and off button, the volume rockers which are metal build and nicely crafted also, although the volume rockers is not separated. You will find the noise cancellation speakers over here, the ability to insert the micro SD card over here that supports up to 128 gigs. This is missing in Apple iPad Air 2, as Apple relies heavily on the internal memory only. And additionally, you also find a SIM2 tray over here on the right hand side. It also supports a nano SIM and is the 4G variant. On the left hand side of the Apple iPad Air 2 and the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2, there are no switches or any functionalities present whatsoever. Now on the front part of Samsung Galaxy Tab S2, you will find the Samsung branding, the earpiece and the 2.1 megapixel shooter, the 9.7-inch of screen, the home button, the back button and the capacitive touchscreen button. Similarly, for the Apple iPad Air 2, at the front you will find the 1.2 megapixel shooter, the 9.7-inch of screen and the home button or the finger sensor button present only over here. At the bottom of the Apple iPad Air 2, you will find the speaker grills nicely crafted on either side of the power charger cable point. Similarly, for the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2, you will find at the bottom the speaker grills nicely crafted on either end of the 3.5mm jack input and the USB connector. At the back of the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2, you will find the 8 megapixel shooter, no flash, Samsung branding and the knobs for the accessories of the tablet. But for the Apple iPad Air 2, on the back you will find the 8 megapixel shooter, the Apple logo, and obviously it's a very attractive logo that's present over here, and the iPad branding. Now the Apple iPad Air 2 is considered to be the thinnest tablet, around 6.1 mm. But Samsung claims that it has beaten the Apple iPad Air 2 with the new Tab S2, and rightly so. It is only 5.6 mm. Even weight wise, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2 weighs around 389 to 392 grams, whereas the Apple iPad Air 2 weighs 437 grams. So that way or the other, the Samsung can be regarded as the thinnest and the lightest tablet available till date in the market. And obviously, holding either the tablets, I will say that the Samsung is lightweight and is very easy to hold in one hand also. The Apple iPad Air 2 comes with silver, the space gray and the gold variant. Whereas for the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2 and in the stores, you will find the black and the golden model. Although this is a golden model, but it tends to has a brownish feeling to it rather than a gold finish. It is also available in white color but in selected stores only. Both the Apple iPad Air 2 as well has a finger sensors, as well as the finger sensor is present for the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2. Both performs equally great without any hiccups. Obviously, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2 is powered by Android version 5.0.2, which is Lollipop, although not the latest version of the Lollipop, but still it comes with the Lollipop straight out of the box. But for the Apple iPad Air 2, this particular device came with iOS version of 8.0, but currently it's upgraded to the version of 9.0, which is the latest OS available. So till the time of the release of both the tablet, both of it came along with the latest OS available at that point of time. Now storage wise, as I have told, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2 comes with a 32 and a 64 gigs variant with the ability to insert a micro SD card up to 128 gigs, whereas for the Apple iPad Air 2 it relies heavily on the internal memory only and is available with 32 gigs, 64 gigs and 128 gigs. This is a 64 gigs model that I have with me over here. So space wise, I do not think that there is any lack of shortage in either of the device. Although from the Galaxy Tab S 10.5 model of last year, Samsung has dropped the screen size from 9.7 inch and also the aspect ratio is now 4:3, which is exactly identical to Apple iPad Air 2 as well. Now for the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2 and the Apple iPad Air 2, both supports a resolution of 2048 into 1536, but the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2 is usually preferred because of its Super AMOLED technology. Although the viewing angles, the brightness, the contrast, the saturations and the colors are quite vibrant and quite exuberant even in the Apple iPad Air 2. The detailing, as you can see, it's exact to the point and the figures, the pictures comes out just perfect in either of the handset. Display wise, I do not find any difference whatsoever. Both the handsets has a reputation of giving a very vibrant display, great display and also a great deal to the eyes of any users. Now the heavy difference is found in the Antutu benchmark test in both the devices. The Apple iPad Air 2 scores a healthy 60,000 over here, whereas it's 50,000 for the Galaxy Tab S2. Although 50,000 is quite a decent score, but still figuratively Apple iPad Air 2 does outperforms than the S2. From a hardware perspective, if we dig deep into the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2, you will find that it's powered with an octa-core processor that has a quad-core dual channel of 1.9 GHz and 1.3 GHz of processor. It has a Exynos 5433 chipset and a 3 gigs of RAM. Whereas for the Apple iPad Air 2, it has a triple 1.5 GHz A8X processor and is accompanied by 2 gigs of RAM. Obviously, the benchmark test sets it apart from both the handsets. Apple iPad Air 2, although having slightly lower specifications in terms of figures and paint papers, but still the score of Antutu benchmark test tells you that the performance of Apple iPad Air 2 is way better than the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2. But having said that, the performance is not a bad deal either in the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2. Each and every task that is thrown to the Galaxy Tab S2, to browsing the internet, going through any of the informations, the news or stuffs like that, does performs equally great and with equal delight as it does with Apple iPad Air 2. So multitasking is a great delight in both the handsets. In the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2, you have the Microsoft apps pre-built and you can use the Word, the Excel, the PowerPoint, the Skype to a great deal for your office users also. Whereas for Apple iPad Air 2, you can go ahead and install this particular apps from the store also and use them to a great deal. So office usage in both the handsets are a great delight. The 9.7 inch of screen does comes in handy while playing games like Asphalt 8 in both the handsets. Now the Apple iPad Air 2 is completely made out of metal, whereas for the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2, the edges are made out of metal, whereas the back is still the plastic build over here. So that way or the other, a warming tends to get a bit more in the Apple iPad Air 2. But it's not a heating issue, it's a warming issue that you find in the Apple iPad Air 2 because of its metal body. Both the Apple iPad Air 2 as well as the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2 has a non-removable battery at the back. The Galaxy Tab S2 has a 5870 mAh of battery, whereas it is 7340 mAh of battery for the Apple iPad Air 2. So figuratively, Apple iPad Air 2 is the clear winner, and obviously it can beat the Samsung Galaxy Tab 2 on any day with any high performance and draining that bit of extra juice from the battery. From a camera perspective, both the device has a 8 megapixel shooter at the back. Both the handset does not have a flash. I personally am not a big fan of the tablet photography, but it's worth taking note of the fact that the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2 can record a video at up to 1440p, whereas the Apple iPad Air 2 is limited to 1080p. But the Apple iPad Air 2 has a 1.12 micromillion pixel size. The Samsung tablet also has a higher resolution front camera. It has a 2.1 megapixel camera compared to that of a 1.2 megapixel camera in the Apple iPad Air 2. If I guide you to a similar picture in both the tablets, although the viewing angles or the shooting angles for both the pictures was a bit different, but the object was quite similar, you will find that the definitions, the brightness, the contrast and the color differences are well depicted in both the tablets quite excellently. And also if I show you the selfie that I shot with these particular tablets, you will find that although being a night mode and a lower front camera, the Apple iPad Air 2 generally depicts it that the quality of the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2 is way better in terms of the front camera. So that way or the other, the camera does catches my eye in the Samsung Galaxy Tab handset. Now as far as my verdict goes, although the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2 is quite new in the circuit and we did spend little time on it than the Apple iPad Air 2, but even then it has suddenly matched the iPad on the screen size, the aspect ratio and the resolutions. The S2 wins on dimensions, but it's so close that really bragging about which is better than the other is not a good deal to say. Aside from the choice between iOS and Android storage and prices are the big difference here, that the potential deal-breaking micro SD card slot found in the Samsung Galaxy tablet can get a big deal for those users who stores a lot of things in their tablets and use it for a lot of purposes. Performance is a great delight in either of the tablet, but obviously, as I am saying always, the price will only be a deciding factor, and also your preference whether you go for iOS or you go for an Android device. So that way or the other, nothing much to say. Both are equally great tablets and remains out to be seen in the long run for Samsung Galaxy Tab S2 that how it performs, as the Apple iPad Air 2 has already performed to a great deal for the past 1 year or so. Although a new variant of the iPad Pro is being announced in the recent Apple event, but still they have not whitewashed this particular iPad, so it is here to stay, and let's see how the competition turns up or hits up for both the premium companies. That's it guys, hope this video helps. Please stay subscribed to my channel to catch more interesting videos from me. Bye for now.